Welcome back to Choice Media, where we break down modern dating without the delusion. Clear conversations, real dynamics, and honest perspectives.
He asked me today, why are you still single? Well, let me just tell you.
The truth is, I have not met somebody who can handle all of this, okay?
If I'm being honest, I really am okay with being single.
I don't think you're being honest. If you truly were okay being single, you wouldn't still be talking about not finding someone to handle all that. That tells me you're still searching, and that's fine. Just own it. It's obvious you want someone. Stop pretending you don't.
I'm still single. Do you want to know why? Oh, I'll tell you why. It's because you won't stop playing games.
Who exactly is playing games with you? And what kind of games are these that supposedly keep you single? At some point, if it keeps happening, you've got to ask whether it's really them or the choices you're making.
When I say I'm single and people are like, oh, don't worry, you're gonna find someone. No, I'm not single because I lack of options. I'm single because it's a choice.
Keep telling yourself it's by choice, but people can see it. If you truly wanted to be single, you wouldn't have to keep announcing it. It feels less like a decision and more like a situation you're trying to rebrand. If it's a choice, own it quietly. If it's not, be honest about that too.
I would, and many of us, rather be single than ever, ever settle again. Like, we have found comfort in being single and loving ourselves and being alone that I would rather that over you.
Oh, really? All right. Let's see where this I'm happy single, I love myself journey takes you. Because I've seen how this usually ends, and it's not the fairy tale people pretend it is. Time has a way of humbling comfort zones.
I am so happy that I've been single my entire life. Let me tell you why. So many people are in relationships because they want to just have someone. They want company. I don't need that. I have incredible friends. They have taught me what love is. They have shown me not to settle. I'm sorry, man, this is going to hurt your feelings, but I'm sorry I don't need you.
You don't have to apologize to us. We actually feel sorry for you. Thinking you'll ride forever with your incredible friends like that's the end goal? That's wishful thinking. At some point, they'll want to settle down, build families, shift priorities. And that's when you'll realize that temporary happiness and long-term fulfillment aren't the same thing.
My singleness has built the most unwavering confidence ever. Like my self-confidence cannot be broken. Like, truthfully and honestly, of course, we all have our insecurities and our doubts sometimes. But on a day-to-day basis, the way that I feel about myself is amazing. I think she's a 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10? Where are you getting that from? Because from where I'm standing, this doesn't look like confidence. It looks like delusion dressed up as self-love. Being single doesn't automatically make you high value, and calling yourself a 10 out of 10 doesn't make it true. If we're being honest, the numbers aren't numbering.
I like being single because I get to live in peace. Do you know how unpeaceful it is to be dealing with a man sometimes? Men be bringing trouble with them sometimes. Sometimes they got a jacked up family, jacked up friends, jacked up attitude, jacked up life, jacked up eating habits. And like right now, I'm on a diet. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm going to the gym.
It honestly sounds like you're describing yourself at this point. You can't criticize men for having jacked up eating habits and lifestyles while clearly struggling with the same things. That's not accountability, that's projection. And all this, I have peace being single talk. Cool. Let's see where that peace takes you long term. Because peace isn't proven in words, it's proven over time.
I have never been more successful, more driven, and had more opportunities than when I've been single.
Opportunities? What opportunities exactly? You keep saying being single has brought you all these opportunities. Elaborate. What doors opened? What changed? What did you gain that you couldn't have gained in a relationship? Because saying opportunities without specifics just sounds like a buzzword.
I am single by choice. It's a decision. And it's because I choose to like men who don't like me back.
With all that said, I don't think you're single by choice. It feels more like you keep choosing men who don't choose you back and calling it standards. That's not empowerment, that's entitlement. You don't want to be single, you just want what you can't have. And when it doesn't work out, you rebrand it as my choice.
I have been single literally all my life, okay? And I am 20 years old, but I would not have it any other way because I am looking, that's the thing, like people are like, why are you still single? Like what? I am looking for a specific relationship. A specific relationship how I want it to be. And I am okay with being single if that means I will never get it in my lifetime.
At 20, sure, you're allowed to dream big. That's normal. But saying you'll stay single for the rest of your life if you don't get a very specific fantasy relationship? That's not conviction. That's immaturity talking. Life has a way of adjusting our expectations. And trust me, adulthood humbles everyone eventually.
The reason why I'm single. Apparently you have to go outside and meet people. Like you actually have to go outside and talk to them. Yeah, it's gonna be a no from me.
If you think a man is just going to knock on your door and ask to be your partner while you do nothing, that's not how it works. Relationships take effort, positioning, and reciprocity.
People are like, why are you single? And I'm like, well, that's an interesting question you ask. Probably because anyone I like doesn't like me back. And anyone who likes me, you see, I don't like them back.
That's not fate. That's a pattern. At some point, it stops being bad luck and starts being a reflection of your choices. If the attraction is always one-sided, maybe it's not the pool. Maybe it's what you're consistently chasing.
I'm single because I refuse to settle for an average guy. Because I don't consider myself an average girl.
So you're single because you refuse to settle for an average guy, since you don't see yourself as an average girl. Confidence is fine, standards are fine, but when you put yourself above average across the board, you also narrow your options. The higher you rank yourself, the smaller the pool becomes. Just make sure it's confidence and not inflation, is because there's a difference.
Why am I single? And the truth is, I don't want to share a man. I am not sharing. I am not sharing.
No one wants to share a man. That part is normal. But when it turns into control, possession, and insecurity, that's where it becomes a problem. If you want to live in a world where it's just you and him, isolated from everyone else, that's not love. That's fear talking. And no healthy man wants to feel handcuffed to someone's wrist forever. If you want something real, it has to be built on trust, not ownership.
Part of the reason why I'm single is because I'm intelligent. When I talk about intelligence, I'm not just referring to academic accolades. In fact, that probably doesn't even matter very much. I'm talking about consciousness, emotional maturity, integrity, a sense, yes, of right and wrong, self-respect, values dignity.
All right, Professor, we get it. You're single because no one can match your intelligence. But let's not pretend. Looks matter as well. Intelligence is attractive, yes, but so is presentation. Being smart is one thing. Being average and overly picky is another. If you're going to demand top tier across the board, you'd better bring more than just a resume and an attitude. Now you know exactly where the gap is.
Reasons why I just love being single. 1, if I wake up at 3 a.m. and I want to drive somewhere and get me a freaking hot little snack, I don't gotta tell nobody. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go.
So now it sounds like the issue isn't standards, it's preparation. You can't say you want something serious but move like you're not ready for it. That's like waking up at midnight craving a snack when you could have stocked the fridge ahead of time. Desire without preparation is just wishful thinking. If you really want something, you position yourself for it. You don't just hope it shows up when you feel like it.
The reason I'm single is because very early on in my dating experience, I learned that the moment you say to him, hey, I like you, where's this going?
Of course it takes time to build something after you confess your feelings to a man. You can't say, I like you, and in the same breath demand, so where is this going? That's pressure, not patience. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a solid relationship. If you expect every question to be answered the moment you open up, you're not giving anything room to grow. And with that mindset, don't be surprised if things keep stalling out.
So yeah, I'm 53, completely single by choice, and also no children by choice.
At 53, let's be honest, it's hard to keep calling it a choice. The dating pool is different, the options are different, and time isn't moving the same way it did at 25. You can say you don't want kids, you can say you're single by choice, but at some point, reality speaks louder than pride. If that's the path you're on, then own it fully. Just don't pretend time hasn't had its say.
I'm single in my 40s because I choose to be. Why? Because I'm no longer available for bullshit. I would rather be alone for the rest of my life than have somebody disturb my peace.
Disturb your peace? That's interesting, because the same people who talk the most about peace are often surrounded by constant drama. You can't keep calling it protecting my peace when there's chaos everywhere you go. At some point, if you're always single and always blaming the world, maybe it's not everyone else. Maybe there's something unresolved that hasn't been addressed. Peace isn't a slogan, it's reflected in your patterns.
Being single for a really long time is a huge flex because number one, you will never pick somebody because you are desperate or lonely. You have now worked so intentionally and deliberately hard to figure out what you will no longer tolerate.
Saying you'll never pick someone just because you're desperate or lonely, that part is valid. No one should choose out of fear. But have you really thought about the other side? The quiet moments, the days you're sick at home with no one there, the times life hits harder than expected. Keep calling singlehood a flex if you want. Just don't ignore the reality that independence feels different when you actually need support.
I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, and I'm fine with that. I don't want to do anything for you. I don't want to cook for you. I don't want to clean for you. I don't want to be your secretary and set your appointments and chase you around and make you go because of your health.
If these are the reasons you're single, I can see why. But let's be honest, if you openly reject cooking, cleaning, and contributing in any traditional way, you can't be shocked when certain men pass. You don't get to dismiss the roles many men value and then complain about not being chosen. Preferences go both ways. If you don't want to play that role, that's your choice. But don't act confused about the outcome.
Privilege to be single as a woman in her 30s. It really is a privilege. I have choice. I have my own money. I have my own property. I have a job. I have my own social standing / class / belonging. I have my own life, my hobbies, healthy body, everything. I have everything.
Oh, so you think you have everything and can just stay single forever? Let me ask you something real. What's the point of building, earning, and gathering all of it if there's no one to share it with? I'm talking about family, about children. Success feels different when it echoes in an empty house.
You asked why I'm single at 59. A better question would be, why would I stop? I wake up when I want, I spend my money how I want, I travel where I want with my dog.
In your 50s, you're not exactly supposed to be globe-trotting with your dog while calling it fulfillment. That's usually the season people hope to be traveling with a life partner, someone to actually share the experiences with. If you consciously chose a dog over building something with a man, then own that choice. Just don't dress it up as the same thing. A pet can give companionship, sure, but it's not the same as shared growth, legacy, or partnership. Call it independence if you want. Just don't confuse substitution with equivalence.
Why I'm still single. Number one, I've worked so hard to design such a beautiful life for myself where I truly enjoy my life. I have a lot of freedom, a lot of flexibility, and overall, I'm really just at peace and truly happy with myself and with my day-to-day life.
You can sell it to the world and package it however you like, but tone never lies. I'll applaud the hard work. That part is respectable, but a life built only around personal wins can start to feel like temporary highs. Success sounds different when it's shared. Still, who am I to stop you? If that's the life you've chosen, own it fully. Just don't expect everyone to believe the happy in your voice if it doesn't feel real.
Here are some extremely underrated luxuries of being single, in no particular order and with little to no explanation. Number 1, my leftovers are always in the fridge. I never have to worry if somebody else ate them. Number 2,
I had to cut you short because this doesn't make sense. You're single because you don't want anyone eating your leftovers, and somehow that's a luxury. Being protective over your plate is fine, but don't confuse extreme guarding with empowerment. Self-sufficiency isn't the problem. Acting like sharing is a weakness might be.
And this is why I stay single. The biggest problem I see is they say one thing and do another. They haven't learned how to appropriately express their wants and needs so that I can do my best to try to meet that and they can do the best when I also express something. They're unsure if they want to be in a committed relationship.
Honestly speaking, if it were me and you're 47, I wouldn't rush to commit either, especially when there are younger options in the dating pool. And the reasons you keep giving for staying single, they sound more like excuses to avoid commitment than genuine empowerment. Call it independence if you want, but if you keep dodging accountability, don't be surprised if you stay alone longer than you planned.
I'm okay with being single for the rest of my life. Yeah. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart and soul, thought I would be single for the rest of my life. I'm currently still single. I'm talking to a guy or seeing a guy right now, but I genuinely thought after domestic violence, going on to 9 years in October, that I would be single for the rest of my life, and I was going to be completely okay with that.
I still don't get it. You say you're talking to someone, but at the same time you claim you're probably going to be single for the rest of your life. Then your caption says you felt lonely while you were in a relationship. So which is it? Are you building something new, preparing to be alone forever, or still healing from feeling alone with someone? Because right now, it just sounds inconsistent.